A ridiculous ending of game number one in this first BO3 to start off our day. Go to group stages for the final qualifiers here for Challengers. I'm Ravage joined here by Sandrick to lead into our second map of the day between TSM and Winthrop. We got Haven.
Yeah, Winthrop's pick of Sunset went very back and forth. Two explosive neons. Sim getting, I think, at least a 30 bomb by the end of that game. Just barely winning out 13-11 there after Jerk was able to pull off a massive 2v1 clutch in the bitter end there. But that was just clutch central. Every player having a pop-off moment. It was a 3v1, you're right. Oh my goodness, so sorry. Yeah, they had the trip into the... Sorry, I forgot that 7 didn't count for me there for a second. Sorry. But it's fine. Because we have Haven now, and TSM are experts on Haven, and they're going to do awesome, and they're going to do great, and this is going to go to map 3 for sure, 100%, absolutely. Yeah.
Once again, as we hammer it in, right? Look, now, it's been a decent bit of the offseason for a lot of these teams, right? With both of them trying to scrim whatever they can, and then also trying to create a squad as well to be entered in for a tournament like this to see, you know, whether or not they can look to qualify one more time for TSM. If they do manage to do so, considering they are one of the favorites in this entire qualifier tourney, that belongs to MXS, you know, Internal Troop and so on too. They have looked the best, especially considering they did make it to the final tournament in Ascension as well too, or in Mexico. So to run back with a lot of the same roster is definitely a possibility to see it once more. But for as far as we know, have not been practicing for very long, considering they've had Sim, you know, come back after his trial in AG. And as for Winthrop, they got midterms, bro. It's exam season, like it's exam season like next week.
Literally,
they are struggling
they're
right now between the two. Yeah, it's midterms, then assignments and exams. I remember unfortunately all too well. So it's crunched right now for them for both the game and of course school as well. But we'll see if they can manage to continue their momentum here on Haven. But for TSM, Haven's always been one of their biggest strong suits, and now with some changes with T-Dog not coming in instead of a Proto, we'll see how they look to play the map a bit more differently.
That's true. Yeah, T-Dog and a Proto, extremely different flexers when it and also IGLs for that matter, which T-Dog assumingly is taking the role of as well for TSM.
I assume so, yes.
With this team. Which I love. I think T-Dog's an incredible IGL. I think he does a great job of controlling macro, and we'll see that here with TSM starting on attack, WU choosing to start on defense once again, still on patch 9.09, so no chance of a regen shield raid boss in these pistol rounds in this tournament, but you'll still see some good early action because we're in North America, baby, and Moves is already in the battlefield. Moves is the battlefield. Moves is the whole damn battle. 3 down for the Cypher. 10 HP to go. Spot Ziv's gun. One more. No, thank you. Okay, TSM, pest control. Now comes the rest of the team, and Nazi is good enough force to grab GMD. Now Ziv standing alone, spike in hand, on the way to an open A site, though, so at least we maybe get some creds and a orb, maybe.
Dude, I can't believe Moves got 3.
We just stood there again.
Just peeking and just have with a ghost by the end, as once again, as Henrik already mentioned, but for those of you who are new or not paying attention, look, it is of course a 16 bullet ghost, right? So sorry, 15 bullet ghost. So you know, this is the old patch. Don't worry. As right now though, and a 1v3 is Ziv,
standing ahead,
and he's choosing instead to hold a decently off site over by Sewer instead, but here's a jumpings one that just peeks the body, concussed tucked in the corner, and Ziv, no Utah on him just yet. They can damage him, and just strafe peeking one, but with 2 in their corner, not much more you can do about that.
Good shots on Infiltrator, great tracking, but yeah, you kind of have to peek far back and pretend you might have some util to hold on to if you're Ziv. Being the KJ, you can maybe play that mental game, and of course wanted to make sure that recon bolt had absolutely no chance of touching him on the reapproach. Well, WU can't exactly spread themselves thin. The one thing that did work really well is Moves over here in Garage, so he's gonna hold it down on C site yet again. But yeah, they're gonna play pretty far back apart from this A lane, which, I mean, you know Infiltrator's gonna want to fight that almost every time early on.
Camera taken out.
See if he does, but Cam spotted, so
He's already dashing back.
yeah. Moves instead choosing to move into garage, though, considering no one actually peeked into him early on. Flair will be the one to get caught. And Moves makes his way back into the site as he calls for resources of the team. But they're getting out of there, and Winthrop isn't actually duped by this. They're still keeping Jerk on A, so they're realizing can be rotated as they didn't actually get through site yet.
Question is, does Infiltrator decide to try and take Courtyard here? Maybe you hear it a little bit earlier, if you do. Or the Owl Drone or something.
Oh,
They'll hear that, yeah.
He sees all that. He knows the full rotate.
Is anybody going to watch this? Turret doesn't spot it. Alarm bot's not here. Moops is going to get away with this. How much discipline are you able to have here? Oh, he guessed wrong. A little bit of time wasted.
It's okay.
Maybe he gets to double back. Oh my god! 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 Oh my god!
OMG times 7. It's okay. It's fine. But what matters is now is that's a tragic.
They're going back again! There's 20 seconds left!
Jerk is still watching their match to get one. They had to get the spike because Jerk had it. And they're all just running away at this point. The wallback doesn't actually land. Infiltrator and Jerk not running over to see.
10 seconds
Well,
left.
look at the plant, though. It is, of course, actually Infiltrator here first. He's pushing against him. He has it. Oh my god! Infiltrator equipped the gun. Infiltrator gets both. At this point, what is this messy round? It doesn't even matter. What?
That was a hodgepodge, dude. That was totally... That was ridiculous. Moves! Why aren't you checking that corner, man? Oh my gosh.
I mean, you just don't expect it, considering like you're hoping that, you know, they'll all probably just 5 stack into sight because it's an anti-eco.
Right, yeah, you hope they're closer to a degree at least. Oh my gosh, that is so unfortunate, dude. But a great recovery from WU to make sure they hold on to this after losing the man early in TSM. I mean, that was a really great rotation. That was a great double back. Even though WU heard the approach and they had time, it was still so well weighted. Once again, well weighted, just spelled differently. GMD shot on the roots on the lurk up C lane. Ziff doing the same damn thing up A lane. Again, just really solid discipline from these guys.
Yeah, and now with this, with guns in their hand, they look a lot better. As I say that, I'm sorry, Gimo. It's a gun out of their hands, but the advantage still in their favor. T-Dog spotted as the rest of the team. They have the site open with the retake, Sim watching the cross, changing guns, doesn't matter. Now he knows exactly where you are. The signal being given over. And Jerk, spot with the alarm bot, will have to, you know, face his dues and see what he can try to get done. Maybe get one, but they know where he is, so he'll just have to stay on the outside.
I think that's the only time I'll take it. Oh, my Sim might want it.
Right here.
He's already fragging out. Not surprised. He's just gonna go for duels here. All the time in the world, too. 3 now for the Jet. Yeah, he may not be able to slide in, but these approaches from TSM are not going to get any, you know, less scary, especially now that T-Dog is on that breach instead of the fade. His timing on Haven in particular is just about as good as a Protoss.
Here.
Yeah, it's because, you know, we're talking about changes, right, between for TSM, right, between a Proto and Poised not being subbed out, right. So it is a different TSM, but I find one that is relatively unproven because they need just more time together. As I find is the case for a couple of these teams who specifically you can look at the new MXS roster, right? So you're looking at them practicing scrimming for a decent bit, but a challenge season in games like these are really what form a team. Between the two of these, let's see what kind of form TSM is in. Puts out fast lane only to fake out and move away as if watching the angle. So realizing with danger being there, have to rotate through spawn, but TSM deciding to cut the losses and re-hit into A.
Here.
I mean, with their comp, it's going to be their most consistent site. GMD on 5-star Astra. Bless up. Gotta be my favorite spirit animal is 5-star Astra.
5-star Astra is my favorite Pokemon TCG.
5-star Astra is my favorite Pokemon.
What?
Big stock in sewer. Try to scare away Infiltrator. He is not phased at all. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. That's a lot of gamers.
30 seconds left.
Yeah. We'll use the KGLs from here too.
Oh, this is great timing, actually. You know, they util burn a little bit to, you know, get Infiltrator in there, and then they set the lockdown on the stack that's now in there, so now everybody has to question themselves. And yeah, Nasi's going to force himself forward to try and get this lockdown, but TSM, they don't care. They just use that as a distraction to head into B-side as well. I love how deep this playbook rolls, dude. They're willing to go to 10 seconds every damn round. T-Dog get the spike down there in, and Sim is in too. Inside the smoke, outside a Link, moves with the frag back, and WU has a couple ways to approach. Flare is surprisingly on site, and with the help of the Cypher ultimate, is able to just walk right up.
Not ready.
Now the Astra Suck has to get used early, and Flare is already sidestepped. It moves on the way back as well. The cavalry's arrived, and 7 is totally surrounded. Not for long, can turn back around to Nazi, but there's still 2 on the front line, and that is more than enough. Winthrop University will now have 3 on the defense.
A late ending plant for TSM. Lands the facing a paranoia with Flare still at the back of the site, and with him not being cleared out, allows him the chance to be able to actually look to not only disrupt the planters, but also find 1 to 2 of his own. And then from there, you actually clear out the person looking towards A Link. And with Sim being gone, only managed to get 1, means moves cannot ult, and your team and your post plant are pretty much left non-avoid because you have no time to actually set up. Consider you planted about 20 seconds, so Winthrop, an immediate response, and now the clock running out for this team, right, pretty consistently means I'm going to need a bit more change in the TSM. Ready to see more decisive hits, because if they want to play this post plant style in the first half, then unfortunately landing with 10 seconds left in a lot of these rounds means their last second decisions leads to unfortunate runs.
Good shots by Sim and Ziv. I don't know how Sim clipped Flare there. Nicely done. But still get to poke around on these other sites. Really got the pick of the litter here, but Nazi, great peek out, and no one can punish.
Here.
They're going to use quite a bit to try and stow him away, make sure that there's more players available, and a Paranoia will actually strike Sim as well. Again, very well placed by Flare.
Get out of my way.
But TSM still have a way in. It's called Garage. Infiltrator now controlling the lane, so it's limited time here, and with the Hunter's Fury, it's also such limited space.
Spike down.
Huge crunch from the rest of WU to get them their 4th round of the game. Well done so far. Ult on the board. I mean,
looking practiced.
This looks really good, yeah.
Yeah. A Haven map, which we were given the advantage towards TSM, in fact, but leading to a pretty decent turn, especially on an attacking side as well, too. Sorry, especially on a defensive side where Haven usually being T-sided. Foreboding, perhaps something else, but Infiltrator. An early peek at his sewers, sees 1, fires this shot. Will leave them waiting at the entrance of A again. It's been the A hit over and over again. And we'll force him to walk out.
Placing swamp grenade.
And again, they'll use that A pressure as a way to try to get onto a less occupied B site. This is something that they've done for a very long time now, and they've executed arguably some of the best, but T-Dog once again can't outrun the Aftershock. So all he can get down is Spike. TSM forced to extend. GMD has to get so greedy here, and it'll pay off. Dealing with Flare now, just hopping into Garage, though. That's a little too greedy, and the rest of WU can totally collapse. Easy 5-1 there, not even need to use any ults. So far, TSM hasn't even, forced WU's hand in these eco rounds. And it's made it a lot easier to just gain some easy, defensive momentum.
If I'm TSM, I call a timeout here.
It is over.
Yeah.
I realized earlier down 4, but before it extends even further, I think you need to find it, pretty much nip in the bud what's going on. These side pushes have been pretty much without info for the most part, right? You're looking to walk in blind and pretty much contacting a lot of those times, and thank you, there we go. Yep. And contacting in doesn't necessarily benefit the TSM naturally, as they're taking 50-50 chances as to what they might want to do. And we've seen this 3 times now, where it's been early A hits, and because of them being picked off or one being lost, they just full wanted to see. And unfortunately, that's so easily read because it's not like they're faking or kind of signifying that they may be staying around. It's they're stomping away with no indication that they might look to refake and rehit.
Yeah.
So Winthrop have a clear indication as to where they have to wait for TSM to just come into the loving arms, and then from there they can do whatever they want. Sure, it comes out to aim duels, which TSM isn't too bad at, but if you're still losing a 2v1, the round is still, you know, for lack of better analysis, lost.
The other great thing is that particularly Nazi and Flare are doing is the way that they're spreading their util across the round. TSM, with the way that they've been attacking, like you said, where it's been so committal and so readable where they're going, that it's very sink or swim util dumping upon their pushes. A lot of the time, you know, T-Dog and Seven have to use their util in tandem rather than staggered. And Winthrop is able to ultimately just continue stunning them and force them into these, you know, 15-20 second positions that TSM have been scurrying to try to salvage. But until then, they can keep playing from the back, keep just tossing util into the void, and ultimately it'll be a positive trade, you know, when it all totals out.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is at least a bit similar from TSM, but more defaulty in terms of their actual A hits that they've had, but are still leaving Zifter, you know, Lyric as well, and putting on util on their flanks. So they've been caught by those before, but not without cause. Jerk barely managing to get out of that, but still taking one is criminal. Not being punished on just 29 health. At TSM starting off these rounds once again, being a person down.
Oh, Moobs caught way earlier this time by Zip, which means they have 4 in the fight a lot earlier, one of which is not affected by a Rolling Thunder. One is tossed back as well from TSM, and T-Dog will use it to grab an opening kill outside of Link. WU is completely stuck, and T-Dog is good for 4! My man heard y'all last game.
All right. Suddenly, T-Dog activated. And I was 5 and 5, evening itself up, landing a nice couple. The previous round seems like the timeout was what they needed for a quick mental reset. Now, albeit this wasn't necessarily off the back of just the cleanest hit, but it was their players looking much more confident in face of the retake of WU and not going up and not landing up against, I should say, 1v2s that they managed to have previously. And the last from here, though, we'll look to see if anyone of them can change their strats. As again, it's the lean towards A with 2 ready. Nice shot from Sim. Infiltrator pushing, gets 1. And the shock bolt to allow him to get out.
Is that worth it at that point? Like, that was why Jerk was holding that lane for so long, so Infiltrator could get inside. Grabbing GMD is a very important pick, though. Forces even more of the burn early on in the push. And so if WU guess right, which normally they have been in this late round, for where TSM will end up settling, take flight. It'll be dangerous for the attackers. But Infiltrator still staying pretty close, and with this Owl Drone, he will be found out. Could get crunched early if nobody holds him, but instead, it's a Hunter's Fury committed by 7 to try to chase down a Neon. Quite a risk that won't lead to anything.
There's just 1 tag by the end of that too on Infiltrator, so they realize that he is still staying on site, if anything, but from there, the question has to be as to whether they continue to commit to this, right? It's a 4v4. They still have what they can want besides their actual controller player. It's the toughest part. So they'll slow walk into sewers, clearing a split with a 2-2. And Infiltrator has to take first contact here, especially up against the op. He's watching the angle, and Sim's so much faster on the peak. I bet he gets punished, but Nacho stays alive, concussed at the top, and the flash to stay up. It's 8 seconds left. The plan has to go down now. And TSM realize the desperation to keep Winthrop in the game, and where WU lose 2 at TSM, Bond looks to be ready.
They tried to play to force time, and they got so dang close. But enough people, especially enough below the blocks, prevent Nasi's aggressive util from gaining any mileage, and Moobs cannot get a kill on the board. But Sim, poster child of that round for sure, just dry peeking on that operator to open the site back up so heroically. It's exactly what TSM needs to get back in this game, nay, this match. Should also be said, Ambrosia are 4 rounds out from 2-0 in Lemonade Stand right now. On the
I
other
was
side of the
muted, my
bracket.
bad.
Right here.
There go. Oh,
I remember. Okay. But this is what I wanted more out of TSM. Right, slower pacing.
Yikes.
See what they match Winthrop as
Blocking sight.
they're the ones now getting over aggressive and overheating a bit, especially in terms of these peaks, just almost willy-nilly walking into them. Now finally off of Usul, the takedown too.
Right there.
And a save here
Wow.
being given
Why'd you
over to
find it?
Winthrop.
There.
Not detrimental, but could easily shift the momentum back in their favor. Infiltrator waiting on the corner of the wall with 3 also by their side. As Plank goes down, they have no recollection or no idea this is happening, but now they realize it. But to face it would be tough though. There we go. They find it off the fault line. Infiltrator walking through, Sawtooth tucked in the corner of Cubby. There's a GMD left. Now up against 4. The save that started so well for TSM goes so wary so quickly. Just scheme on. Spike gets defused and he's trying to live. He wants that gun to be saved, but he won't allow them to save theirs.
some good kills to end things, but a really well-taken site by WU. I do understand Kimon going for that Cosmic Divide against what is still a gun diff, but Infiltrator is all you needed to get a gun. From there, he can take back as much space as he needs to with this Odin and get the rest of the team mobilized, which is exactly what he did once that fault line from Nazi came through. Ultimately, the Cosmic Divide helped them swing back before the spike was even fully committed to in the post plant. Infiltrator yet again!
Just leaves them wary. Infiltrator 2 just tries to take that, but especially up against a 2v1 like that, you're thinking that maybe you can try to land one, but now TSM playing much more stacked up. None of these individual angles, Odin for Odin taken, but one still stands. And now with 3 left on both these sides, Spike will go down once again on A.
Nazi is in sewer right now, which means they should be expecting 2 flankers here.
Oh god.
Seven's gonna get really early positioning here. That's really unfortunate for Nazi.
Off your feet!
And Flare is gonna have to take a moment. Rolling Thunder committed here from T-Dog. Move steps in,
What?
Flare steps in, they both win! Hello?
Hey, no way. Hey, no way.
Huge-
The timing.
Huge
the
ultimate
timing
from my goat, dude.
He sees him TDAWG. What you know about him?
Had to take a lap on that one. Holy T-Dwag. He's absolutely cracked. What a recovery. And he's already a quarter of the way back to his rolling.
Hey man, that's crazy. Use that
wow.
off rip that actually merits to land, but you see what I'm saying though, as with the ends of these rounds and so many of them just are played on inches as we're looking at somehow 2 going in a team's direction that should have never gone, right? We're battles and duels where when corners that we should have an advantage, and it's coming down to just a second that we're somehow losing, that we're somehow barely winning that off of heroics.
Yeah. Another execute from Sim, perfectly caught this time, and WU is more than present at the site. 7 now swinging his way through, but he's the only one on. Infiltrator just gets to peek with an overdrive into an open lane and moves on the lurk. Once again will get one. He keeps doing it, man. Ridiculous. As if the only one remaining. Use your ultimate, use your ultimate.
Right there.
Last round.
Went
in
up,
the
do it
half.
again.
Yeah.
Here.
It's
I mean, they anchored site so properly there. That's the kind of response that, you know, you were begging for if you were a WU fan 4 rounds ago.
Exactly, right? Just to land them in just better positions where they're not looking at the barrel of a gun so often, but they're instead looking more so at the corners of the wall to allow them the time that they want to, you know, allow the team to at least have their back for a trade, if anything, as they have played so scrappy so many of these rounds that I find TSM has preferred the same. Leaning really just towards these opening duels at times as to how the rounds may end up going. Bit split between the two. Finally, Garage looked over as an option. Owen isn't watching it though. Instead, he's watching towards B, but it's like they rotate moves over. I wonder if anybody does go in. They hear the drone. There comes the paranoia. And it's just pretty much a contact up into B?
This is very brave, but very slow, which means WU are not as tuned to it. Nazi still finds the opener, though. And Flare, now that the smoke is gone, just has to say his PC will. It's Sim. One more down. Jerk all the way from CT, just going to launch his ultimate into the fray. Will catch one with a tag, but now with the lockdown free to be placed, this is a pretty closed site for a while, which is good because Moobs absolutely knows where T-Dog is, and T-Dog has no way out. Moobs will step in and still find T-Dog, and he's on the way out, and he's not gonna make it.
No.
He's detained, which means the rest of the team has to do the heavy lifting. Iman is gonna try and find him. Oh, but the Cypher roll, he's coming to the trap wire. GMD can't do anything. WU have completely taken the site back. Are they able to win it though? Zip can peek back in. Infiltrator has a head. They're outside the door. Both members are here. TSM, they're able to lock it down. No way, dude. It flips again.
Switching sides.
Playing a retake like that with no smoke is hard enough, but off the tragedy that was GMD, a bunch of picking the wrong 50-50 as to where the Cypher could have gone, but still leading to the playing off-site and having clear and open angles. Sim, I should say, trying to see if he could possibly push them back further and get one of his own, but
Placing swarm grenade.
for naught by the end, and now allowing TSM, after being down 5 rounds at 1 point, only being a 2-run differential, and on their map pick, a pistol and a bonus is what is needed. We're seeing the 2-1 flip-flops, but for TSM fans out there, you're desperately hoping that this pistol goes the way that Moves did last time. Speaking of which,
Famously good pistol rounds from TSM as well across this year. And same could be said so far this series for the most part.
Spike planted.
They're here early, 7 at least is. But this is a really quick setup. With the Omen instead of the Asterix, I mean, you are able to get onto A far faster, and so this is going to be a more recyclable output for Winthrop on this half. But can you win the post plant? Infiltrator can win his first one, and nobody else can really re-swing that without the danger of the other 2 players in hell. Repositioning time from WU, which means probably winning time for WU indeed. TSM have nothing to go off of except just the drop, and they will drop like flies. 8-5 now for the collegiate team.
that was tough from W. That was tough. Because you started off with the trade as well, which didn't look too bad, but from there again, it's these 8 side hits that have kind of just been
This is a nice spot.
the nail and just the end all be all. Both these teams. In fact, what was that word you said?
Well, which one?
Let's go there.
Something about a catalyst.
What? What do you mean?
Doesn't matter. You know what? It doesn't matter. The point is that
You think I remember things I said?
I don't know, man. I'm just speculating. You know what? I'm sorry for asking. My bad, bro.
I'm sorry.
But the point remains is that as the A has been the default for both these sides, it leads now to see as to how WU face the wrath of TSM on their end. There's a gamble stack over and the full rotating on 4 towards C. Back. And it's just a full flank. They have the tripwires there at the back, so they'll be able to notice this coming unless they look to go through mid, which it doesn't seem like the lean is towards there. Plant down. Now TSM now.
They're already pretty extended. Jerk is gonna go early intel. Only heard one, now knows there's two, is about to learn there's a few more, but the trapwire stops him, gives time on the concussed jerk, still loses the fight against the quadruple swing. WU, they'll just head to backside, they'll head to Link. Make sure all the other odds and ends are tied up. They're not. Ziff is still waiting for his time to shine. But limited time, and oh, it blinded 7 leads to a stalled TSM in the cubby, and Ziff has to make his time now. It is too late for the team, and it comes down to trying to find some kills, which they can only find 2. 9-5 now for WU, 4 rounds away from going to the winners finals of this group and tossing TSM down to sudden death.
I wouldn't say TSM are out of it just yet. If you look at some of the rounds and how especially these biops have gone, they have notoriously gone to the favor of TSM in the past 2 games every single time. They've yet to lose out on the first biops, which is what I'm counting on for them as well too. The thing that remains though is that for Winthrop as right now, getting an early pick and getting a gun off of TSM's hands could be very detrimental, and winning this round could cripple them potentially. And very easily here too, with 3 Bulldogs on their side, Infiltrator looks to take the aggressive approach, but to move into A and a util spam up top though, but one stays unblinded as Sim staying alive as CSN7 has their back. A 2 for 2 by the end as A side's left wide open. T-Dog aware and ready for anyone to come forward. And Move's last one left.
Those blinds, plain and simple, didn't cover everything they should have, and WU could not be fast enough with the weapons they had. One hell of a push as long as you have the guns to back it up in this round. You don't. TSM will disallow play in the field and once again work a bonus, which like you said, they are excelling at almost even more than pistols in recent tournaments and games. That will continue here with both teams on the verge of a couple ults here too. Question is, how much does WU once again commit to this A push that is very powerful, but also very tangible? TSM could, reapply all of the pressure to that site the second they want to. That's the beauty of having Astra on defense.
Scanning ahead.
Sir. 5-point spread. TSM on the defense.
Wow.
With a wall bang.
Dude triangulated that one.
Yeah, I mean, Sim definitely heard him jumping around, so was able to find, like you said, triangulate as to where he could be. Instead of looking to get aggressive once more, the timing caught onto Flare so big, turned on. Now Flare good for just one to give one over to Sim. The Infiltrator now gone, but it may not be the end of it too. The concuss still good enough to allow Nashi also walking past the flash. With them all staying on site, Nashi good for 2. Now Winthrop running out of time. Doesn't matter.
Wow. Okay. That was incredibly done by Nazi. The rest of the fight was suddenly in B side, and Nazi just took it all by himself, and then jerked on the backup. That was really greatly finished off. Sim's lurk there was very fun to watch. I'd love to see some more of that greediness up A lane whenever WU decides not to approach it at first. But that'll take some tough reading, and you might not have enough time to do that. Instead, TSM will stack on the B site here and try to take up Courtyard against a much better buy. WU with the better buy, they'll go to their much better run, which is once again that lane. Doing it again.
Sim. Beautiful start off as well. Sees it all go towards A now. It's on Infiltrator to see if they can get one back of his own. Puts up the ult, almost burnt out. Takes Sif, but GMD on the other side is waiting supreme with just a stinger. A disgusting 3K. Completely unchecked on the Astra. Guimon, qu'est-ce que c'est? What was all that on a save and a must-win round once again for TSM? He carries it to the finish line, puts him in the burlap sack, and says, yo, allez, mon ami, let's do this thing. Max moves left. 1v2, puts up the ultimate. Has to, the spike has 40 seconds. And I realize is exactly where they could be. But a spike recovery is essential. He's concussed. He's stopped. But he gets one. At 1v1 up against T-Dog.
I have
The
retrieved
new
the spike.
IGL, the addition of TSM versus Moves. Moves is done, incredible on a fragging, sees T-Dog, but again, he's so much better. Big T, ready for anything.
Ice in his veins for that 1v1 as he's completely out of util by the tail end of that. One hell of a push from WU, but GMD, perfect timing on everything, including that gravity well, which threw Infiltrator into very slight disarray, and the rest of the team completely walled out. Let GMD kind of just have his way with whatever sightline he was holding on to, and inside those smokes, they were basically all his. Now with guns back on the board, they're able to spread themselves thin yet again. With ults in the tank, they're able to play basically whatever way they want to. A lot of freedom for a TSM that's down 3 rounds. Wow, what?
Wow.
What?
That's a tough spam there, yeah. As you see them too.
Okay.
7 alongside Ziff was able to peek that. Not aware of Nashi just yet, but activate the start. Yeah. Easy does it. One lockdown. TSM taking a very confident second round here to try to lessen the gap against Winthrop and look to take Haven back. They do not want to be 2-0 and land into losers. With the final chances to move forward in Atlanta spot into Challengers. Once again, Ascension dreams on the line for a team that made it so far before. They're one of the favorites in Mexico. Looking to make the run back, off shot whiffs it, Infiltrator stays alive, 2v2, Tedrick, I'm scared.
What's this?
He's still gonna check
Last
all of these
player
other angles, but
standing.
both of them are in the garage. Tim's just gonna let the knives fly. Easiest way to deal with the uncertainty that is Neon, but now you gotta deal with Jerk, and an ult online means you have to fight this. Expect a Blade Storm coming delivered direct to you. Jerk, ready for it in kind! T-Dog first tap on the spike. Hunter's Fury still somehow clips him, and there's one more rev left. There is no time, and Winthrop University will somehow get 11 on the board.
Do not hunt
What?
the hunter.
That was a tragic whiff from Civ. All the
That really
knives
looked,
there.
yeah. That was so wrapped in a bow.
Just not able to secure. Yeah, I mean, look, no ifs, ands, about it. Still losing that duel unfortunately cost the round, especially with the ult on their side. TSM, and now especially with the Cloud cripple too, not only have one more opportunity just to have to stay in the game, and losing something like that early is not the best side, albeit it is a save, but we've seen GMD pull miracles off before. He's got to do it once more.
Your feet!
I'm out of here.
And it's going to be against a Rolling Thunder yet again. Infiltrator just gets to run in willy-nilly here. How about a third on the board? T-Dog, smile for the camera. WU safely planting TSM. Almost nothing in the tank. How about you just hand the ace over to the poor boy? Ziff really doesn't want to. Lot in tow. Could play this out. 3v1, extremely doable. You've seen it so many times already this match. Infiltrator spotted, 2 extended, Ziff out again. But so little time on the board, surely it's impossible now.
They're running at him. They just know exactly where he is.
Give him
They're
the
just
ace.
gonna peek him. Yeah. Close to the door.
Hey, there it is.
Look at that. All right. An ace for Infiltrator
Point.
to close out the penultimate round here in this first game for Challenge Open Qualifiers.
Turn out.
This is wild, man.
Placing swarm.
It's wild that
Yeah.
Winthrop have looked this good. Especially up against a team like TSM. Highly heralded, one of the favorites, and Winthrop coming out of collegiate. Showing their utter dominance. I'm impressed.
As am I. Yeah, it's great. I mean, Jerk and Moobs fit it like a glove on this team. And Flair as well, for that matter, fit right back in. I mean, he's been playing with the squad for so much time. He's definitely had chemistry with them, but to see him back on the core 5, really exciting to watch this kid work.
Yeah. You could even talk about Nazis as well, usually users too, especially on this map alone, the breach, right?
Yeah.
His flashes have been so impactful, getting 2 or 3 every single time. If not making space for a team, but for himself, if anything.
I'm out of here.
You can harken back to a couple rounds ago where he did that, got 3 from there to open up B, and now with C being the take, TSM fighting to stay alive, 4 ultimates online, and here's the first.
Cannot be countered by anything other than an infiltrator that's just gonna hop right in with an overdrive and immediately get taken down. It does open things up enough for that lockdown to get taken down though, so Winthrop can actually hold sight, but they don't have too many players left to do it. Blair has made his way all the way back around, and one guy's looking at Owl Drone, the other's looking at Sight, and that's a huge wraparound for WU. Almost evening things out. Nazi just barely avoids the fault line for this 1v2, but a fault line of his own is just barely back. Not enough time for the fight. Nazi just has to lock it down, and he does! For a Winthrop University that just 2-0'd your TSM here for the winner's bracket.
Once again, a round ended in ridiculous fashion by Winthrop in incredible clutch. And this time it's Nazi, the player we were just talking about, who had his own highlights plays throughout the game, but that one to close out the round, no util, no fault line, but choosing to tuck in instead of move out to long and taking 2 confidently 1 by 1. It's Winthrop to move forward in the upper finals, taking the 2-0, and they only need 1 more game to look to qualify for playoffs next week, which, hey, if we're looking at it right now, might just beat Ambrosia.
I think they're 1 round out right now. We're going to see in just a moment whether or not Ambrosia will beat Winthrop University's opponents, but Winthrop University will have opponents and will have a match for you in the coming minutes. Don't go anywhere.